Matthew Stafford, through 4 games so far this season, is 83 for 137 for a completion percentage of 60.6%, 1,017 yards, 7.4 yards per pass attempt, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 3 total turnovers, 1 of them returned for a touchdown, and he's taken 12 sacks. Stafford is on pace for throwing 332 completions on 548 attempts for 4,068 yards, 32 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and taking 48 sacks. So the stats for Stafford don't look terrible. They look fine, but we honestly need more than fine from Stafford right now because the team is not performing particularly great. However, if we compare the stats through 4 games in 2020 to the stats from 4 games through 2019, which many of us consider the best season of Stafford's career, Stafford was 88 for 141 for 1,122 yards, 8 yards per attempt, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 4 total turnovers, and 7 sacks. So in all honesty, the production looks pretty similar compared to last year. But like I said, I don't think Stafford's played his best football at this point yet. So in this video, we're going to dive into the film and we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly from Matthew Stafford through 4 games so far. We're going to break down the sacks and I'm going to give you who I think deserves the blame on each sack, and we're going to break down all 3 of Stafford's turnovers so far this season. We're going to start off with the good. On this play, Stafford gets a rusher right in his face, gets crunched, and still delivers a beauty to Danny Amendola, and he's going to get crunched on this play as well. This is a 3rd down play, gets hit, still hits Marvin Jones. Nice job. He's going to get a rusher breathing right down his neck, but he's able to find the wide open Jesse James, and right here, he's going to have kind of a rusher breathing down his neck, but this is a beauty right there to TJ Hawkinson. And then right here, you can argue he has 2 rushers breathing down his neck. But he still finds a way to find Marvin Jones and delivers a strike right there. Then right here, Khalil Mack's going to come off the edge and Stafford's going to feel it. He's going to step up, roll out, hit Cephas for a 1st down on 3rd down. He's also had some really nice plays against the blitz. This is a 4th down touchdown pass right here against the blitz. And Stafford does a good job getting out quick and taking the hit and converting on 4th down. And then this is another blitz. This was the game-winning play right here against the Cardinals, for the lack of a better word. You can argue he should have probably gone to Hawkinson because Hawkinson was a little more open. But against the blitz, my take is that you got to get the ball up quick. And that was his first read. On this play, this is another blitz. And he delivers to Hawkinson, gets the ball out quick. Good job right there. 3rd down conversion. And then this is a good play. He hits Hawkinson on the play action. The blitz was kind of weak because of the play action, but a nice play against the blitz nonetheless. Stafford's also had some really nice plays on 3rd down, like this play. Swift goes out in motion to see if it's man or zone, and it's zone, and then Stafford's able to hit Marvin Jones in a good spot on a 3rd down touchdown pass. And then this is one of my favorite plays, 3rd and 17. Stafford's going to get pressure up the middle. He slides around the pocket, finds the soft spot, and delivers a strike to Danny Amendola. You might be able to argue he should have gone to Marvin Jones because he was more wide open. But, I mean, it's 3rd and 17. I ain't complaining. That's a beauty right there. Alright, so I want to break down this play a little more than I did the other plays because Stafford basically threw this touchdown before the ball was even snapped. And he showed on this play that he is a veteran quarterback in this league. The Saints are running a cover 3. That guy's got a 3rd. This guy's got a 3rd. And this guy's got a 3rd. This guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy will all be playing underneath routes. The Lions are going to attack this by having Golladay run a flattened corner route, and that will match this guy right here up with Golladay. And then they're going to have Danny Amendola run a short out route. And it's going to match this guy up on Danny Amendola. So this is a pretty good route combination to run against cover 3, but Stafford has to help his receivers out on this play, and I'll show you on the other angle how he did it. So basically, in theory, this guy will take Danny Amendola, and that will theoretically leave Kenny Golladay matched up with this corner that I have circled that is playing the deep 3rd, one-on-one. But, like I said, Stafford has to help his receiver out a little bit. If he were to just stare at Golladay the whole time, then this defender could easily just act as a second defender. But that's not what happened. Stafford as you'll see when I show you the other angle, it's going to start by staring down Danny Amendola, and it's going to suck number 26 up to take Danny Amendola out of the play, and then that's going to leave Golladay one-on-one. Alright, so on this angle, you're going to see how Stafford manipulates the zone. Maybe I'm tripping and maybe I'm looking way too much into this pass, but this is what I saw. Alright, so the ball's hiked. Now watch Stafford's eyes right here. You'll see that Stafford's eyes appear to be looking at Danny Amendola. You can't see because both receivers are off the screen right now. But yeah, you see Stafford's eyes aren't really looking in the end zone yet. Now watch about right here. You see Stafford's eyes? You see Stafford's eyes have shifted to Golladay right here. So Stafford on this play did a good job of manipulating the zone and giving Golladay the best possible chance to succeed. Now you can argue maybe that the pass wasn't absolutely perfectly placed. I personally have no complaints about it, but that's just me. I like this play from Stafford a lot. And just for good measure, I was even able to find an instance of a no-look pass from Stafford. Granted, it was just a screen pass, but a no-look pass nonetheless. Alright, so we've talked about the good, but now we gotta talk about the bad, and there's definitely been some bad. Like this play, this is an underthrow from Stafford. He missed a touchdown. The Lions did ultimately go on to score a touchdown on that drive, but he did cost his team a couple minutes, and maybe the defense may or may not have gotten the stop with the extra time, but we'll never know at this point. However, I do want to note Stafford stepping up in the pocket. He needs to do that a little bit more in the upcoming weeks. Don't step up and run, step up and throw. And then this pass, it's just an overthrow to your 6-7 tight end. You got to hit your 6-7 tight end, man. And then this pass is a little bit too hard and in front of Danny Amendola. In all honesty, he probably catches it and gets tackled, but we won't know at this point. And then right here, this would have been a spectacular completion if Stafford got it there, but he missed it by just a couple of inches. But as we all know, football is a game of inches. However, I do want to note Stafford stepping up in the pocket again. Stafford feels the pressure. He steps up. He needs to do that a little bit more. Don't step up and run. Step up and throw, Stafford. Now, this is an interesting talking point throughout the video. These receivers are kind of getting locked up. Like, that's a linebacker on Kenny Golladay. And yeah, the pass was high by a few inches, but at the same time, look at the coverage, and you'll see it from this angle. The coverage was there. I don't even know if Golladay comes down with it, even if it is placed properly. And then right here, Stafford overthrows Golladay. Golladay probably catches it and gets tackled, but you want to hit that throw. That's a couple points off the board probably. And then this is an overthrow to Danny Amendola. So that's the accuracy problems that I've been kind of seeing. But one of the things that has been a bit of a bigger concern to me compared to prior years is how much he's running around. I've seen him take off and run before, but I don't recall watching Stafford running around the way he's been running around this season. I don't know if Bevel is telling him to do this, or if he just woke up and decided that he's just going to try to run even if it's not necessary one day. But coming out of the bye week, I would really hope that we begin to see him step up and to throw instead of step up and take off. So the way some Lions fans are talking, they would probably have you think that Stafford's just missed everything, he can't do anything right, but that's simply not the case. There's this absolute dime right here. The play got called back due to a holding penalty, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it was a beauty of a throw. And you even got this play right here. Feels pressure around the edge, hits Marvin Jones on a third down and converts on third down for a first down. Then we have this beauty to Golladay, high where your guy gets it or no guy gets it. And there's even this strike right here to Quintez Cephas. That's a beautiful throw right there. So Stafford has absolutely missed some throws, but he's also made some throws as well. So his accuracy can get back to where we want it to be. And he's also shown signs of stepping up and throwing instead of stepping up and running. Like these plays I'm going to be showing you. Not all these step-ups are completions, but the bigger point is he's showing the right pocket presence. and I'm showing some of the same plays again. But my overall point here is that he's shown that he can do the right things. He's shown that he knows what the right things are. He just needs to start doing some of these things a little bit more consistently coming out of the bye week. Alright, so we've talked about some good and some bad, and now we got to talk about some of the ugly, and there's been some of that too from Stafford. In particular, the sacks. So how much blame does each aspect of the team deserve? Does the coaching staff deserve some blame? Does the lack of receivers getting open deserve some blame? Does Stafford deserve some blame? Does the offensive line deserve some blame? The answer is yes. All of those things deserve some blame. So we're going to go through all 12 of Stafford's sacks and assess blame for each one. And not every single sack will have a singular aspect of the team have all the blame. It's going to be a combination for most of these sacks. And we're going to start off with the first sack that Stafford took this season. Darrell Bevell just got way too cute on this particular play. On this play, I gave Darrell Bevell 70% of the blame. I gave the coverage 25% of the blame, and then I gave Stafford 5% of the blame. I think most people put this sack on Stafford, but check out the coverage right here. Pretty much everyone is covered. And I know a lot of people are saying, Stafford, throw the ball away. Well, the problem is you can't just throw the ball away. And Stafford was inside of the tackle box. So maybe he should have just thrown it high to this receiver. But yeah, Stafford maybe throw the ball away a little better, but Darrell Bevell never called this play again. Thankfully, he hasn't, and receivers, you gotta do a little bit better of a job of getting open. But yeah, this is just a terrible play call. 70% on Darrell Bevell, 25% on the coverage, and 5% on Stafford for me. Alright, so there is a lot of things to break down with this particular sack. This is a bad situational sack by Stafford, but there's a whole lot of bad on this play. Let's start off with the coverage. As you can see, when we roll this back, pretty much nobody is open on this play. Unless Stafford throws like one of the greatest balls that he's ever thrown, there's pretty much nobody open on this play. And by the time that guy gets open, the pressure had already gotten there. However, the check down is open, but we're going to get to that in 1 second. So there's the first part of this play. The coverage to me gets 33.3% of the blame on this particular sack. Alright, now we got to break down what happens up front. The Packers are going to run a stunt on both sides. And it doesn't really get handled the best. So that's going to be the second part of this play. Alright, so if there's any part of the screen that you should watch the right side. So watch how 91 comes in on the stunt. Ibushi does, I don't know, okay job picking up the stunt, I guess. But look at Stafford's eyes right here. It looks like he really badly wants to go to DeAndre Swift. But the problem is those two guys that I have circled are now getting very close to breathing down his neck. And in all honesty, that's not as easy of a throw as it looks, because that could very easily get batted into the air. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much, but I don't know. That throw is probably not as beautiful as it looks. So he's got pressure up the middle, he's got pressure off the edges. Stafford, I feel like he wanted to go to Swift, but he could, but he couldn't. I don't know if that makes any sense, but hopefully it does. So Stafford wants to go to Swift, and now he's trying to do too much at this point, and this is the part where it falls on Stafford. He tried his best to keep the play alive. He probably shouldn't have kept it alive. He probably should have just thrown it in the dirt or something like that. So I give 33% of the blame to the offensive line, 33% of the blame to Stafford, and 33% of the blame to the coverage. So this sack, I put 100% on the offensive line. Stafford's going to get pressure up the middle and off the edge, so there's not really that much he can do. You're going to see about right here. There's nowhere for Stafford to step up. Maybe if he was a little faster, he could have run through that hole, but I've criticized Stafford for doing that throughout this video. So yeah, this sack I put 100% on the offensive line. Not much Stafford can do in this situation. So this sack right here, I put 100% on Stafford. It was a nice little blitz, but he didn't necessarily have to take off and run the way he did. So if you're Matthew Stafford, you see the blitzer coming, right? It's going to get picked up by the running back, so just hang tough in the pocket. and deliver to Marvin Jones or deliver to that guy when they come out of their breaks. But that's obviously not what happened on this play, and it results in a sack. So this sack right here, I think I'm going to go ahead and put 100% on the offensive line. You're going to see Stafford get pressure up the middle, and he's also going to get pressure off the edges. And you're going to see Terrell Crosby just fall over. Now, Stafford did have 2 players that were open on this play, but in my personal opinion, maybe you guys will have a different opinion, the pressure probably got there way too quick for Stafford to even see them. This sack right here, I'm going to put 60% of it on the offensive line and 40% of it on Stafford. You see the right side of the offensive line is just kind of getting beat kind of bad. You can argue that he has those 2 receivers right there that are open, but the pressure gets there a little too quickly for him to deliver it there. Also, the other problem is on Marvin Jones' route in particular, he needs to cross this guy's path first before Stafford can throw it there. And with Danny Amendola, there's a lurking defender right there waiting to break on the ball. So I guess neither of those receivers are as open as they look, at least in my opinion. So that's why I give 60% of the blame to the offensive line on this particular play. But I'm going to show you why I give Stafford 40% on the other angle really fast. Like I said, the offensive line on the right side is going to get beat kind of badly. However, one little thing that Stafford could have done to prevent this sack and buy himself a little bit more time is just slide to the left. I don't know if he would have ended up completing a pass. I don't know if it would have ended up being a completion. And I don't even know if it would have ended up being anything. But that's just one little thing he could have did to prevent himself from getting sacked. This sack, I give 30% to Stafford and 70% to the pass protection. They got enough guys to block this whole blitz up, but we got basically 2 free rushers coming at Stafford. However, the ball's got to come out a little more quickly, and Stafford never even looked to his hot route, which was TJ Hawkinson. Or at the very least, I would assume it was TJ Hawkinson. So in this particular situation, I think 30 on Stafford and 70 on the offensive line is fair enough, because 2 free rushers, that just can't happen. And you had enough players to block it all up also. This is probably going to be the shortest analysis of all the sacks I'm going to go over. 100% offensive line. I mean, yeah. This sack right here, I'm putting 60% of it on Stafford and 40% on the pass protection. The reason I didn't say offensive line is because Hawkinson right there is going to get beat around the edge. However, the reason I put 60% on Stafford is because he has plenty of space to step up in the pocket. And if he did just step up in the pocket, then maybe he could step up and hit Marvin Jones in stride on the crossing route that he's running. So it's like, yeah, Hawkinson, you got to hold up longer than that. But Stafford, step into the throw and lead Marvin Jones in stride for a touchdown pass. This sack right here, I am putting 100% on Matthew Stafford. He actually did have multiple receivers get open on this play, but he just got a little bit too impatient. Yeah, the pocket is kind of collapsing on the left side, but hang in there for a second longer and hit this guy or deliver a strike to that guy. That's obviously not what happened, and Stafford ends up taking a sack. This sack right here, I'm going to put 50% of it on the coverage, and I'm going to put 50% of it on Stafford. On this particular play, there is not really anybody open. The checkdown's barely even open. Now, when I keep the play rolling forward, you're going to see that the checkdown does become open, but it becomes open after Stafford starts taking off because the guy who's defending the checkdown is going to run up and try to help make the tackle. He ends up not even needing to go up and make the tackle, but that's what happens. So that's why I give 50% of the blame to the coverage, but Stafford, that's not a bad pocket. Just hang in there, roll out, throw it away. I don't know, just don't do that. Like I said earlier in the video, like that needs to be kind of cut out a lot coming out of the bye week. So the Saints are going to have this guy run a loop, and you'll see why that's notable when I play this playback. I did go ahead and put this one on the offensive line 100%. Yeah, Stafford did walk into the sack, but when you see the play out, you'll kind of see that At least in my opinion, there wasn't really anywhere to walk but into the sack. So yeah, you'll see number 94 running a loop. And then Frank Ragnow actually does a pretty okay job of picking it up, but Stafford stepping away from that loop, but the guys on the right side just get beat. There's not really much Stafford can do in my opinion. Yeah, like I said, he walked into the sack, but I don't really know if there's anywhere else to walk but into the sack. Alright, so when I add all of this up, I gave Stafford 34.9% of the blame for the sacks. I gave the pass protection 50.3% of the blame. I gave the coverage 9.0% of the blame, and I gave Darrell Bevell 5.8% of the blame. And pretty much all that 5.8 is from the first sack that Stafford took. Now, a lot of people are putting the sacks on Stafford, and there's definitely been some that I blamed 100% on him, as you saw, but the offensive line has definitely been responsible for its fair share of sacks. Now, I went through every single one, and I gave you my interpretation of the film, and I gave my reasoning for why I put the blame where I placed it, and I'm sure there will be those who disagree, but this is my personal interpretation, and this is just what I saw, I guess. If there's something that I was overlooking, then just tell me in the comments section, I guess. Before I dive into the film on the 3 interceptions that Stafford has thrown this season, I think it's important to note why these 3 interceptions have been so backbreaking for the Lions. At this point in the season, Stafford has committed 3 turnovers. A season ago, through 4 games, Stafford had committed 4 turnovers. However, Stafford has cost his team more points this year on his turnovers than he did last year. And that is why these particular turnovers have been so backbreaking for the team. On this graph, I got where the interception was thrown and then where the opponent started their drive off of that turnover. Then I have the minimum points lost from the turnover. Like if the Lions were in field goal range, then I called it 3 points lost. And then I have how much points the opponent gained right after Stafford turned the ball over. Now there's point expectancies and stuff like that, but this is the extremely simplified version of point expectancies, I guess. So a season ago, Stafford cost his team about 9 points based off of his turnovers. The Lions were in field goal range on 3 of Stafford's turnovers a season ago, so I said that he cost his team a minimum of 9 points. However, look at the opponent's starting field position after Stafford committed each turnover. Opponent 34, opponent 20, opponent 15, and opponent 18. So the opponent had longer drives to go on the turnovers a season ago. However, this year, the interception against the Bears started the drive on the Lions' 37-yard line, and they scored a touchdown on that drive. So the opponent gained 7 points off of that turnover. And then the opponent didn't even get a starting drive because one of these turnovers was a pick 6. A season ago, Stafford did not throw a pick 6, and none of his turnovers were returned for touchdowns. And none of his turnovers resulted in the opponent even scoring any points at all. The turnover against the Saints was a huge backbreaker because that was a 10-point swing in the game. He may have cost his team a touchdown, but I just call it 3 points because they were in field goal range, and I don't know if they would have scored a touchdown on the other plays that they would have had. But at the bare minimum, that interception versus the Saints was a 10-point swing. So if you add the opponent points gained and the team points lost, Stafford has cost his team at least 24 points so far this season. A season ago, despite committing more turnovers, he only cost his team about 9 points. So I guess last year, Stafford was committing better turnovers than he has at this point in the season. Despite turning the ball over less, the types of turnovers have just been backbreaking. Alright, so this is Stafford's first turnover of the season, and it was a killer. It's a combination of an unlucky bounce and a bad throw by Stafford. Whatever you want to say about this, I mean, it's all the above, whatever you say, honestly. But watch Stafford's eyes right here. Stafford looks like he really wants to go to Danny Amendola, but Danny Amendola is kind of jammed at the line of scrimmage. And then you're going to see Stafford come off of Danny Amendola just a little bit too quickly. And in all honesty, if Stafford just stared down Danny Amendola for just a little longer, he probably would have gotten the first down to seal the game off. But as we know, that's definitely not what happened. So you see Danny Amendola's kind of jammed. Now Stafford comes to Marvin Jones. Now Stafford does have a little bit of a window to make this throw, but A. Jackson is going to make a spectacular break on the ball. But also, this throw probably just should not be thrown. Like I said, hindsight's 20/20, and if Stafford knew that the ball was going to hang in the air forever instead of just fall to the ground, then Stafford would have probably just eaten a sack or something like that. And that's not what happened. Stafford throws the ball, A. Jackson breaks on the ball, and just look at the hang time on that thing. You would think that it would just fall harmlessly to the ground or something like that, but it hangs in the air forever and is easily picked off. So whatever you want to say, you're probably right. Stafford shouldn't have thrown the ball. He should have stuck to Danny Amendola a little longer because Amendola did eventually become open. But yeah, that's Stafford's first turnover of the season. Stafford's the one that throws the pick six on this play, but in all honesty, in my opinion, this is just poor execution pretty much all the way across the board. Those are the guys right there that are going to be blitzing, and there's enough people to block this blitz up, but it just doesn't happen. Stafford's going to get a rusher right in his face. He tries to throw hot, and he throws a pick, and it gets returned for a touchdown. Maybe I'm tripping right here, but I don't know. I thought Stafford went to the right spot. He tries to throw hot against the blitz with a rusher right in his face and in the end zone, but it just gets picked off. This is another one of those turnovers where, honestly, whatever you say about this play, you're probably right. Now, I think a lot of the viewers are going to disagree with me a lot, but I really don't hate this decision right here. Look at all of those Saints defenders near the line of scrimmage. You should absolutely be throwing the ball in this situation, probably. It's kind of an improv play, and it's not like Stafford stared down Hawkinson. You can see he's not looking at him yet. And then he's going to look at Hawkinson right now. He's even pointing, go deep, go deep, go deep. And Hawkinson, he gets a step on the defender. It just was a little bit underthrown. I don't hate the decision. I absolutely hate the execution, no question, but the decision itself, I don't hate it. But it was absolutely a bad throw. In all honesty, this turnover is 100% on Stafford. Put more air on that ball and get it to the corner of the end zone. And that doesn't get picked off, and you get a touchdown. But instead, it's underthrown, and it results in an interception. And this is the play that I said was a 10-point swing earlier in the video. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly from Matthew Stafford through 4 games. Has he been absolutely spectacular? No. But has he been hot garbage? In my opinion, no. So I guess I ask you, the viewer, to come to the halfway point between hot garbage and absolutely spectacular. He's been neither. He's made some good plays, he's made some bad plays, and he's had some ugly plays as well. So Stafford does need to play better coming out of the bye week for the Lions to be successful. But the offense as a whole honestly needs to be better. The offensive line has had some good moments, but it's had some pretty bad moments as well. I don't know if you guys interpreted the sacks the way I interpreted the sacks, but the offensive line definitely can start playing a little bit better. And one thing that I don't think is getting talked about enough is the Lions are near the top of the league in terms of their drops. Now, I don't know how updated this screenshot I took is, but the Lions are struggling with the dropsies a little bit. Now, some of the drops are in fact on Stafford, but not really all of them are on Stafford either. Like, there's been some weird plays going on with the drops, and I'm even going to show you some of the drops before I close out this video. But I guess the overall point here is Stafford needs to do better, and the offense as a whole needs to do better. Alright, so on this throw right here, if it was, say, Danny Amendola on this throw, I would say that's on Stafford. But that's Kenny Golladay, dude. I expect Golladay to come on down with that. This drop is on Stafford. It was a little too hard, but again, I kind of expect that ball to be caught. Now, this is just a concentration drop, just a flat-out concentration drop by Kerryon Johnson. This play right here at first glance looks like he led Hawkinson a little bit too much, but it was actually a pretty good throw in my opinion. And you'll see why on this angle right here. The Cardinals do send some heat. Stafford's going to do a pretty good job of stepping up in the pocket against the blitz. And look at the tight coverage right there. Stafford placed it right past the outstretched hand of the defender. In my opinion, if Stafford doesn't lead Hawkinson that far out, then that pass probably gets broken up. But Stafford placed this ball extremely perfectly, actually. Now, this throw was thrown kind of hard, but it hit Marvin Hall right in his hands. Now, you can say that it was thrown too hard, but it's like it hit him right on the hands, and that's not some wide open window for Stafford to make that throw. My opinion, I expect an NFL receiver to make that catch. You can argue that I expect an NFL quarterback to make that throw, but again, it hit him right on his hands in a kind of tight window. Now, I don't know if this play was counted as a drop, but it wasn't the best adjustment to the ball by Danny Amendola. And I know people are going to say Stafford threw it behind him. However, I'm pretty sure Stafford intentionally threw it behind Danny Amendola because that guy that is underneath the arrow is coming for Danny Amendola. So Stafford threw it away from the defender. And I guess the adjustment just wasn't made. Alright, so I'm not going to go through every single drop because honestly, I counted more drops than the screenshot I showed you showed. But some of the drops look like the Adrian Peterson play where Stafford threw it too hard, and some of the drops look like the TJ Hawkinson play where Stafford placed it perfectly. So it's like a combination of concentration on the receivers and Stafford throwing it a little bit inaccurately. But I think that's going to go ahead and wrap this video up. The line sit at 1-3, and we'll see what happens. And we'll see if Stafford is able to get back into form. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you disagree with my interpretation of the film, or if you agree with my interpretation of the film. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.